This gambit has a 75% chance of winning for white, and it's called the Halloween gambit. They're e4, e5, we're gonna get our knights out, black's gonna get their knight out, and it's gonna be a very normal position. But we're actually gonna sack our knight. Black's gonna take back with their knight, and we're gonna push for d4 to push this knight back. Black's gonna have to go back to g6, and we're gonna keep pushing, forcing black's knights to go back. And we're gonna play bishop f4 to put pressure on this weakness on the king. And if black plays d5, we're simply gonna take this pawn. And most people in this position for black will try to get their knight out. We're simply gonna get our bishop out. And because black can't take this bishop because of the pin, he's gonna push this pawn forward, and we're simply just gonna roll back. And black's gonna push this pawn to try to get out the pin. We're simply gonna roll our bishop back, and black's gonna keep coming forward trying to kick this bishop out. And we're actually gonna let black take this bishop, and the reason being is that if we castle and black still tries to take, we're gonna get this really great position. If black makes a simple move like this is basically borderline winning with +6. But let's go back a second, and let's say instead black just took and got this bishop out. We're still gonna take, and this is still +6 for white in this position. And we're gonna get our queen to attack this knight. Black's gonna have to go back with it, and we're gonna jump in with our knight trying to fry this diagonal. Black can jump in their knight to stop us from having any plans, but it's not gonna work. We simply move our queen up to give black a check. Black's gonna have to go forward. We simply push our pawn to keep attacking this knight. And now black is gonna have to go back with this knight. We're gonna get our knight to give another check. Black's gonna have to go back, and this is +8 now. We simply slide over our queen. Black is going to try to kick this knight out by pushing this pawn. And we're simply going to win a piece already because there's no way to protect this bishop. We take the bishop. Black's best move is to check us with the queen. We're going to go back in the corner. Black's best move is still to check us. We're simply going to move our queen down. Black's going to trade down. And we're simply winning in this position. Now, even though this is +6, I'm still going to show you how to win just because this endgame is really complex. Black's best move is to push this pawn, trying to unhook both these pawns from each other. And we're simply just going to move our rook up. And there's really no way to stop both these pawns from coming forward and making a queen. Black's going to try to make a waiting move by moving his rook over. We're going to push our pawn. Black's best move is to take our pawn. We're going to take black's pawn. And this is just going to be too much for black to stop. Black is going to keep on having to make waiting moves. We're simply going to push our pawn forward. Black's best move is to move the rook out. We're simply going to connect both our rooks now. Black's going to push his pawn. We're simply going to move our pawn, getting ready to make a queen. And black's going to try to disconnect both these rooks by moving the knight. And black's going to move his knight here to try to disconnect the rooks. And it's not going to matter because we simply push our pawn. And black's best move here is to sack the rook. And there's simply no way to win this. With this pawn is going to come forward and we're up a rook. If black tries to attack this pawn, we're simply going to move our rook over. Black's best move is to move their knight out. We're simply going to push our pawn forward. And it's actually mate if black tries to take this pawn. So he's going to have to move his king back. We're going to take the pawn now. Black's going to take back. And we're going to line up our rook against his king. Black tries to leave. This is mate in 2. We simply give black a discover check. Only way is to go back with their knight. And that's just checkmate. So now you know.